Like I get everything connected. I'm all set up. I'm like, grab my tablet. I'm like, all right, time to start working on it. And then I'm like, oh man, where's the pen? I'm like, I don't even know if it's charged. Didn't have the pen. That's why I need to practice this stuff. I was going to go over a couple of the reasons. I was looking for something that I know I could get done relatively quick with this. And one of the reasons I chose this one is because, like, when I look at them, sometimes it just kind of comes to you what's going on with these. And if you look at this, let me do something. If you bump it up into black and white, you see you get a nice shape. The usually, like, if something is dark, it's the same reason like silhouettes or like logos are simple. It's usually like the bold shape. It's easier to recognize, and your mind just clicks with it. This one has a nice angle. If you look at the dark area, it kind of starts here, it goes all dark through here, comes here, and almost cuts back. So you have some sort of composition already with that. And it also, this one has a nice light source to it. So it casts some nice shadows under here and over in here in his leg. It like makes the gun pop because all around it is black. So that comes off. Even though there's a lot of ground at the bottom, a lot of it's dark. So it doesn't, it's not as busy on your eye. So you got some nice like contrast to the image. You can tell the light source is coming down from kind of up here, maybe one in front too, because this is kind of lit up. So I always try to identify where the light source is kind of coming from first, so I can kind of create from that. And this one it's really cool. So I'm trying to not, you know, he's got such a nice scene. So it's an upshot, which I love because it always lends that power to it. And then you got your setting. You got these nice plants, and I just want to get something in that background. I'll put a little light, put a little atmosphere in, and just get that background to match kind of the setting that's going on. And I made new overlays. I'm all happy with that. I can do things like all I'm going to do is right now is try to get rid of this background colors real quick. And if this stream goes okay, I'm going to probably try to do a couple paint overs. That's why I wanted some that I think were, clicking in my mind. this live stream program is kind of cool. I'm on their like free trial. I want to see how it holds up, but so far so good. Like the last couple days. That's why there's the, what is it, screen switcher logo in the top right. When you pay for it, it goes away. I'm not too worried about that right now, but I only got it for, what did I say, like 12 more days or something on free, but I'll probably end up getting it because it's the only thing I can get that works. The Streamlab, it would connect, but it keeps booting. And I don't want to spend hour after hour trying to like search for different ones and all that, so I'll just end up paying. That's why I'm grateful for the Patreon supporters, because I can get, you know, things like that and not be totally stressing it. Hey, Greg. Um, you know, I don't know, to be honest. Uh, my bit rate on either one, so I had I had Streamlabs, and I'm going directly from an iPad to YouTube, and I had like connection issues. It kept saying it was like invalid, like it was trying to join an invalid session even though I was already in it. And the bit rate would drop, which I went through, you know, days of checking my internet and making sure and all that stuff. And so between both of those, I switched to this, and I was like, well, let me at least try something new, because I don't have 1,000 followers where I can do it native on YouTube. Like when you get 1,000, you can YouTube allows you to go right from your iPad to, you know, streaming. So I picked this one up, and so like my bit rate is a little low right now, but it dips sometimes in this, but it hasn't dropped out. And I've tested it like 5, 6 times, but only like once or twice for like an hour long session at least, and it's held up. So that's why I was using this. It does a lot of cool things. So like check this out. So you can bring in little stuff. I put a couple images in to see what I could bring in. So I brought in, like, I took some of my drawings and put them over there, so you can you know, bring them in as layers. You can, you know, have all these little pop-ups appear. I can also, if I had, so I have to, the only thing is with this setup, you have to go directly, you need two. I have an iPhone and an iPad. So one acts as the switching device, and then the iPad, all it does is record the screen, and then you activate that as one of the choices. So if I had more cameras hooked up, I could like switch between cameras and all that kinds of good stuff. Audio, I'm not sure yet. I think I can use Bluetooth headphones with this, because it's a pain. I have the iPhone that doesn't have the audio jack. So you can use Bluetooth headphones, but I think I gotta mess with the settings, and or I actually have to get a wire set for the lightning cable and all that, but I'll see. So right now I'm just, you know, using the iPhone mic to talk into, you know, from a distance. So I'll have to get a better sound setup. I don't know if all that babble answered your question or not, but I tried. It does, this thing, it's expensive. I think like uh if you pay monthly, I think it's like 39 or 35 or something like that. I think they charge you 30 a month if you buy a bundle, but if you pay it monthly, it's like 30 some dollars. But for the for being working and all that stuff, I'll take it, because I plan on streaming a lot. I have a lot to learn, like just even like speaking and working at the same time and all that. So I want to kind of get in the habit of at least live streaming some of it when I draw. It'll be, something different, and it's probably a good skill set to have these days. And another thing about this one's pretty cool. I changed notes. I don't know if I'll go over them, but you can do stuff like that, and that's really cool. So I want to talk about like the composition, lighting, color, and focus on this. That way I don't lose track of everything. You can bring in little stuff like that. Ah, okay, 31. Yeah, and I mean, if I'm going to use it all the time, then I will probably do it. And you can hook up, if you're on your same, system, you can hook up to different cameras, more iPhones. I think you can connect it to your PC. So if I wanted to, with a push of a button, like you could switch to the PC screen and shows what's on there and stuff. So it does give you a lot of options. The I had an issue with, I wanted to ask them if I could go direct from the iPad. And so I messaged their little chat center, and they got back to me like in a couple hours on like a weekend night. So that was good. Uh, it seemed like they have some pretty good documentation. So you can look through it, and it's actually helpful, not just like some of them. I couldn't find stuff for Streamlabs much anywhere. I was like all piecemeal or whatever. This place seems pretty good about it. I usually drop a color layer behind it because then you see all the edges you missed from the white. And as much as you get, like, if I'm doing these like on a free paint over day, I can get a little lazy about, it's not necessarily lazy, but you're trying to save time, so I'm not cleaning up as the edges as good. But one of the things is the nice cleaned up edge, and what you do, that's one of the big keys to making it sit inside the atmosphere, is you don't want some, even if you can't really see it, your brain is picking it up and like telling you, oh, something's not right, and so it doesn't fit into the atmosphere. Even if like a lot of times I'll tint over this, but it just has that little like light glow from far away, and doesn't read as good as it could. Yeah, yeah, about paying the price. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm streaming all the time and I can, take on an extra commission or something like that to pay for it, it's kind of, worth it. And if I get to 1,000 followers and I can stream from YouTube, an iPad right direct that way, then yeah, sure, maybe I stop. But I still love these little pop up things. I don't know. Oh wait, where's the one? They have one for. I don't want to hit anything bad here. They have one for. No. Oh, there. I could bring up a scoreboard. I don't know. I put Empire and Chaos. I have no idea why, but I can like live keep score. So maybe if the drawing is going bad, Chaos is winning. I don't know. So yeah, you can bring up a scoreboard. And then you can like promote yourself there. I'll promote me. almost done outlining this one, cleaning up the edges. I'm hoping if I just want I don't want to add, there's like such a beautiful paint job on this one and such cool like atmosphere and camera angle. Like you're not going to try to do a lot to it. I just want to get the atmosphere to kind of match. And I love this model, the way he has his helmet off. I did one, I don't know how many months ago, March, April last year or whatever, of this one that I really liked, different angle and everything, but you know, with the helmet off, and it's just it's a good looking model in my opinion. There. I gotta I gotta get good first before I put a tip jar up here. I'm like so new to this, you get all like nervous and you know just not used to it, not more so than you know nervous. So it's like um I got the phone on one of those things in front of me where it dangles so I can like press it for the different layers and make sure it's there. I got the iPad in my hand and then I'm checking the stream and the uh you know the chat on the laptop in front of me. And I'm in some big chair, I'm not even in my desk chair, but like the big chair I can move around in it and stuff. So I got like all this stuff hooked up for the live stream, but I'll learn. All right, what did I want to talk about? We did composition. It's got that little bit of an angle. Uh, oh, one thing about composition, when you typical pictures like Western society or whatever, we read from top to bottom, left to right. So if you give us something like this image, our eye naturally wants to start in the top left. So it wants to start in the top left, almost like it was paper. So this one has a nice spot because the top left is where the light's going to come from, and then it basically goes, the sight line goes down his shoulder to the gun, and then it points to that bush down there and then back out. So your eye gets led into the awesome character, and then it gets like escorted out through the scenery. So you just come in like that. So I'm only going to try to do that. I'm going to try to add a little light kind of behind him because he has dark legs on there and a dark chest. So if I have a little light behind him, he's going to pop a bit more. And you just get that effect. So I don't know if it's going to be, I might put a couple silhouettes of little plants, but I don't know if it needs it. So I'm just going to mess with it for a bit to get that. So I know where the lighting's coming from. I know the composition. Color right now, we could go a few ways. It's got that green, and I figure, well, technically it could be like at the top of like volcano-ish, so it wouldn't be too green because it could be more open sky. But I almost think it like I see like jungle-ish behind him, so I kind of want to keep the green, and I tend to want to use the color that the person already put in the model. You know what I mean? He's got the green in there, so I kind of want to go with that and just kind of complement it and not get too crazy. So I think I might, you know, go with this color I got right now. What else was on my notes? Color, we got that. Focus. I don't even know what I meant by focus. Like I think it was the where your where your eye focuses, but I mean that pretty much goes in the composition. All right, so you can, I'm gonna duplicate that again. Sometimes I open this up and I go in to the hue, saturation, brightness, and just maybe a hair darker sometimes, and maybe a hair more saturation. I do the saturation because if I put a layer over the top, which I usually do for like atmosphere, it takes away some of the color. So I try to put it just a little back to get more back to where I think, you know, those should read. There's like a little roided out dude in the corner to keep an eye on things. And man, just talking and keeping track of that stuff, it really like affects how I do these. So like that's one of the main things I want to focus on. It's like so I can manage that. So right now I'm trying to figure out if I want more yellow in there. So I'm just going to add another layer where I can try things and then wipe it out if I don't want to. Oh, I'm going to have to mute the mic to save you from a bunch of tapping, but see, I don't want it too burned out. So I might go with some plants. So I'm going to mute this so you guys don't hear crazy tapping for a bit while I work on it. This is the part where you try a million things because you don't really know quite what you're doing. So like having such a detailed bottom and not having anything up top, I don't know if that bothers me or not yet. And I don't want to put anything that really competes with what he has down there. I just want to try to put something that carries the distance of the background. I use a lot of layers. Probably I'll have to, oh gosh, I don't know what we're doing here. This looks kind of cool though. Now it's like I'm trying to figure out if I should have some like plant material above him so he's like under a canopy, or if he's out in the open. And this is a point where sometimes, like especially if I'm working at commission, where I'm just gonna end up staring at it for a while, or I like try a bunch more things just to see. Oh, I kind of dig this. I put those in and I think that kind of does it. I might have to play with the darkness of them, but I like the concept. I'm gonna make them a little darker, and then I'm gonna erase some of it out. I'm gonna duplicate it so if I screw it all up, I can get back to the original one and not have to try to redo it. and like it's so far away on this, I got to remember to zoom in because I'm working tiny sometimes. You know, just I push way back to kind of see how it all looks as a whole. So I got to get used to like bring it forward and all that good stuff so it can read better on these. Just trying to blend out some of that up top. It was a bit busy with the little leaves and all that, so I wanted to shade it some, and then you know, just blur some up and put some atmospheric haze in and stuff. I just want to put, I want to light it some, and so it's heavy green. So I'm trying to get some yellow and orange, you know, almost like it's that sun coming through, kind of on the jungle type deal, and get a little more color in there. Make some of this moss pop. So it's just not like a total monochromatic green. I'm thinking that looks about right. And I'll try to probably accentuate it a little bit, get down some details, and then put a little more. I want to get like a little more kind of like steam into it or whatever. It's jungly, you know, so you'd have a lot of that has to do with there wouldn't be that much stuff floating around, but I put some in it so that it just takes you a little further away from like the photo, the crispness of a tiny photo. I put another layer of just basically like a gray set to multiply. Again, just to erase some of it out to kind of reinforce depth. I'll save you from the woodpecker. I just check the Twitter, and I always do, like, I'll do a couple free ones, and I always want to do more because the people will be posting these cool ones. And I'm like, oh, I can do something with that. And I usually go in on the same layer as the image when I'm good, and I use a blender tool and I kind of just blend the edges a little bit or tug them around just to kind of add that same scale or perspective, or you're breaking up the outline so it's not like a totally crisp outline. It's a lot like, I would think, layering. You're The way you layer kind of paints on, you're with this you're almost doing the same thing in that you're layering a little bit of haze and film kind of in front of it, so you're adding atmosphere, and then you're kind of layering the background to get depth. So in a lot of ways you could look at it a lot like how you layer paints on a mini. This is just, now you have a picture of it and you're trying to layer on the depth on the photo image. Want to get a little smoke on the, trying to come out of the gun with a little smoke. Might be a bit much, but we'll see. Half of a paint over is erasing a lot, or undo button. A lot of undoing. Want to get some of that, almost like a hot jungle. He's got the steam coming out from where he took his helmet, and he's got some smoke from the barrel. And I want to get some gray in, so it's a lot of saturated color in this. So I want to just kind of get some gray in or something. I don't know how that's working yet, but we'll see. It may all get pulled out. kind of want the effect like the smoke is kind of just pouring out, you know, after he's been in a gunfight or whatever with some Tyranids or something. I need a holding. I don't have a holding image. I have to use the stock one. I didn't make one yet. I'm going to. I think I'm gonna call this one good for the stream, but I'm gonna grab another one and probably keep going. My stream held up, so I'm at 54 minutes. So all I'm gonna do is block the screen, grab an image off Twitter, put it back in here, and then work on another one. So I don't know, maybe fit 5 minutes, not even. So if you want to give me 5 minutes, I will be right back. I'm going to leave this on. I'm just going to deaden the screen. I don't have an image for this, so I don't have to deal with that. I'll get one set up. Let me grab one here. All right. Don't know what I'm going to do with this one yet. Oh, I should be naming these. So I remembered to do it on this one. I named that one, and I should put it on as right now. I'm gonna do it. I have like hundreds of these that I don't have the names all set out for, so I've been doing this slow, arduous process. I need to get in the habit of doing it right from the get. That way, I don't put them all off to the end. There. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's going to work. I don't know if it's like leaping in smoke or I got to do something kind of simple just so I can get it done, but it's such a cool mini. Love that like purple, pink, and bone color. Hey, was it DD606? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Trying. I gotta learn this whole streaming thing. It's gonna take me a while, but practice, practice, practice. I want to see with the tool if I can automatic and grab the background. Oh yeah, looks like it'll work. I was worried that the Gene Stealer was white, so it would mix with the background, but I think it got enough of it. There. Now I'll try to clean up some of these edges quick. Whoops. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Headley. Appreciate it. Oh, well, there's more of you. There's 4. I'll show you the time lapse of the last one real quick. So that way you can kind of see. Whoops. This is the last one, but I noticed a couple people joined, so I figured I'd run it for a little while. Just see the quick time lapse. I need all the practice I can get speaking and drawing at the same time. My first stream, I was like so distracted and it kept bombing out. It was like the worst paintover I ever did. got back to cleaning this one up a bit. This shouldn't take me long to clean it. Oh, we'll check in on the score on the scoreboard. Wait. Scoreboard display. We'll change the score. It takes a lot to do, like even just hooking up the iPad to, get it to stream on YouTube. Like props to everyone out there making videos and editing, and GamesMal puts together some of the vids for me on YouTube. And there's a lot of appreciation for that. He makes some cool stuff. The Star Wars ones, it's so awesome. The end credits are really cool. He did an excellent job on that. I've been trying not to buy. I want to get a knight. I want to get, what is it that I don't know how to pronounce the dwarves right now. I forget their names, but that floating, like whatever they got, their big one. It's like that floating frigate. I forget what it is, but I love that model. And what is the other thing I want to get? The Mechanicus troops that kind of ride on the horses or dogs or whatever those are. I want to get some of those. But the only problem is I haven't painted anything yet. Huh. So we're going to try that one of these days. I bought all the supply. They got an airbrush right over here, right in front of me, in the box, and an air compressor in the box and everything else. But this kind of came up, and I'm like, well, I need to learn how to stream and do this. I'm doing it all the time, so why not give people the option just to drop in and say, hey. And probably prevents me from getting really bored if I had someone to, whatever, interact with.